I've had something on my desktop here for a couple of years, and it's kind of starting to burn a hole in the picture behind it. I gave myself two choices. Read it out to you and take a risk, or trash it and forget about it and move on. I decided to do the prior, which is why I'm here with my laptop. So I don't usually comment on current events. I comment on past events. Present day is essentially the result of the past, right? There's no new thought development there. It's not living in the past. It's living of the past, I guess is what you can call it. So with that, I've been doing a lot of thinking lately about the current situation here in the western part of Montreal, the West Island, and it reminded me that I had this piece written on my desktop. So I want to read it out to you, and let's just consider this story time. Okay, so story time here with Jason from Endangered Stories. So sit back and relax. I'll put on some nice music and some imagery to help illustrate maybe a little bit of what I'm saying, and enjoy. So here we go. Whoa, okay, just a couple of things before I get to the article that's been sitting on my computer for 2 years. If you want to show your support, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can subscribe down below, you can like the video, you can share the video. If you want to support me and you want to encourage me to produce more videos, I have the content. I can produce 2, 3, 4 in a week, every week. It is possible, but if you want to support me in doing that, there is a PayPal link in the description of this video below. Anything and everything helps, and the goal, again, is to do this full time. That would be fantastic, but I do need your support. So again, if you like what you're watching, you can click the link down below and support in any way that you can. Thank you so much. Let's get back to the video. Rather than a leveling off of development for the lakeshore, as we indicated this time last year, all indications now point to a continuance of boom-like progress for the new year in this area right through from Dorval to Ile-Perrot. Whether it is desirable or not, there will be no holding the lakeshore for the next decade. This country community of a few years ago is now on the threshold of a new era which will convert the district from country living to an important part of the greater metropolitan community. At times, one could be convinced that it would be nice to be able to stop the clock and stay the hand of development. The lakeshore we knew of 10 years ago is exactly that. It is not the same today, and it will continue to change and evolve. While one cannot stay this hand of evolution, one can guide it into the right channels, where the new community being built is one of which we can be happy to be part. The pace of development for this district, rather than continuing on a straight level, is accelerating. This forecast of accelerated development for this area indicates very strongly the need for accelerated planning by all lakeshore communities if they're going to maintain the standards which they have been able to build up. Municipal councils would do well to make a New Year's resolution to speed up all the planning developments so that this change can be harnessed to provide the maximum benefits for all residents, present and future. While it may be pleasant reverie to believe in and plan for a continuance of comfortable country-style living, it will be more realistic to be ready to cope with a changing lakeshore. Our New Year endeavor must include a resolution to retain what is best from our past living and make plans that encompass what is best from future growth. This article was published January 1959, early January 1959. And I think the reason why it was published is because I believe Pointe Claire specifically, let's say, let's just zone in on Pointe Claire because that's what most of these videos are about, the area that most of my videos are about, Pointe Claire had just witnessed a pretty crazy boom just the previous year. So let's just go the previous year. The previous year, they had to sacrifice one of their biggest and oldest parks, which was Parc La Roque, or Memorial Park, which was on the corner of Victoria and the Lakeshore. It was also the location where the Memorial Library was, which was one of the two Pointe Claire public library branches, the other one being in Valois. So that park was sacrificed for our water filtration plant that's been there since 1958, and it's been there, and we've been using it since 1958. Fortunately, they created Alex Bourgeot Park just afterwards, and I created a video about that. If you haven't seen that video, I'll post that right here. But indeed, there was a lot of pushback, right, about that water filtration plant and losing the park. There was a ton of pushback. The second thing that happened in 58 was they moved the town hall. They moved the town hall from Pointe Claire Village up to where it is presently on St. John's. Now that's a big deal because I guess the center of Pointe Claire was the village, and having the town hall in the town center makes sense. So when you take the town hall out of the center and you move it into an area where at that point was still pretty much all farmland, right? Everything north of John Rennie would have been nothing up until you get to Saint-Geneviève, the Gouin area. So moving a town hall up there, away from the village, I mean, probably meant a lot to the villagers and a lot to Pointe Claire. Things were changing. It was a huge change. And there was also a referendum about that town hall. Should they build it? Do they need it? Does it need to be there? And the other thing that happened, of course, was the industrial park was really starting to show a lot of promise, and they were starting to sell properties, and that got a lot of pushback too. I did a video about Olive Urquhart, and Olive Urquhart in a radio show some years, or 1 year after this article actually, reflected on that time, talking about how much pushback she got about this industrial park. I mean, if you consider in this article, they talk about a country style living, right? And now all of a sudden we're gonna add an industrial park? I mean, that's huge, huge. And she got a lot of pushback. In fact, let me just show you a clip from the documentary, just of some of the pushback that she got. I'll play that right now.
If we look at the truth, we must admit that for many years we have been nothing more than a dormitory suburb, a pleasant one for sure, but primarily existing as a place in which to live and not to work.
Mayor Olive Urquhart sensed the concerns of her citizens and responded with transparency, meeting their exaggerations head on.
It appears to be an impression among some of our residents that we are creating a Charles Dickens monster of smoky darkness and endless chattering wheels, and possibly even the return of child labor. There seems to be a widespread belief that this monster is about to swallow the pleasant serenity of our residential community.
Holy moly. And anyways, there's so much more that happened only within a span of 10 years or so, or I would say almost only 5 years, that the Lakeshore News, the local newspaper on the Lakeshore, felt compelled to do this article. I guess just to let people know that, you know, change is happening and change is gonna progress whether you like it or not. But you can have a say in how it changes. And I think that probably was the big point. So I don't want to give an opinion, and I don't want to say that my opinion is the right opinion about what's going on today. But all I'm saying is that this is nothing new. This has been going on for decades and decades in the city of Pointe Claire alone. And they pulled through. I mean, we're all using the water filtration plant and the water tower, and we're all going to the high schools, and we're all living in, you know, Lakeside Heights and Cedar Park Heights and Cedar Park and Valois now. I mean, a generation or two has passed, and I mean, we all seem fine with it and we've moved on. Just like I'm sure that we're gonna move on from whatever's happening now. So I leave it up to you to discuss and comment down below, and don't destroy me for creating this video. I just needed to get this thing off my desktop. And now I'll discard it. If you have any questions, or you'd like to talk to me about this, or you'd like to know further about what I think about this, I'll gladly jump on a phone and talk to you, or we can comment or send emails or whatever. But for now, that's all I'm giving. The big D for development. It's been going on for a long time. So enjoy the rest of your days, and we'll see you next time.